We have a model wetland village program in Mohamma where I have joined as a program officer. And when I came to Mohamma, I found that there are a lot of interventions are already being planned regarding the lake pollution, lake protection, and conservation of it, resources and all that thing. Basically, we had to work with the conservation of natural resources of the Bembanad wetlands, its conservation, livelihood activities, and especially focusing towards sustainability. When we intervene into the restoration of certain canals and ponds and all those things, we found that there is a threat of pollution, of plastic pollution, and these water bodies are embedded with lots of pollutants like plastics and other waste. Along with the plastic, we found that lot of cloth waste are dumped into these water bodies. Most of the women here, they know stitching, but they don't have an opportunity to start an enterprise of their own. So we trained them to make cloth bags and other products from the used clothes, mainly upcycling of used cloth, which otherwise will end up in landfills and lakes and water bodies. One of the other problem we have met is while cleaning these restoration of these canals is a huge quantity of menstrual waste, used sanitary pads we got from dumped into this water canals. So we understood, when we had discussion with the women, we understood that they are facing a lot of issues with their menstrual hygiene, which otherwise they have no opportunities to open up in front of the crowd or even among themselves. We have sustainable products like cloth pads and menstrual cups. So we have given opportunity to interact with people, and we gave expert class to them on the use of cloth pads and menstrual cups. Now we have discussion with the Panchayat committee. They have accepted our proposal to avail their plan funds to subsidize these cloth pads for women. When we started Social Innovation Lab in our premises, what happened is women felt more comfortable in coming to such a platform. Here now they can bring their kids to the Social Innovation Lab. They can bring their friends. Women are more involved in bringing up the next generation. So when we start from women, it creates a lot of changes in home, in the society, and in the state.
As far back as 1980s, we started serious work on environment and energy. We started off with energy conservation and energy efficiency programs like the improved smokeless cook stoves. We did a huge amount of work all across India through our branches by installing efficient cook stoves and also biogas plants, which was taking care of waste management as well as generation of power for the rural households. We also linked it to income generation for poor women. We did many awareness programs to propagate solar energy, starting with the basic solar cookers, which were using direct sunlight to cook food, and which were very popular with the women, and many women switched over to this the use of solar cookers. And we continued our program with popularizing many of the RET appliances, renewable energy technology appliances. Women were trained to construct the cook stoves, and they were also trained in construction of the biogas plants, and they were going from household to household. First of all, doing some advocacy work, convincing the households about the necessity of switching over to efficient cook stoves and the installation of biogas plants. I would say that this was a very hugely successful program of All India Women's Conference. From there, we moved on to alternate energy in the form of solar energy. We did many programs across the country for popularizing solar energy, and we see an activist role for the women in keeping a watch on the environment and on the developments that are destroying the environment for several reasons, whether it is the politics or the cultural values or whatever. But the women are coming out, and then they are also trying to use their traditional knowledge to strengthen the base and teach their own families to be more resilient and also adapt to the changes that are happening around them.
We have recently faced two major disasters due to climate change, especially floods, which has swept away the major portion of Kerala. So now we are creating now the advantage is people are now more aware of the difficulties of climate change, and they are anxious to do something to minimize the effect of climate change and to save our people and our children from the dangers of what is happening now.
I've been an intersection of things like being a woman and being a Dalit had its own challenges, backing up with the place where I'm coming from. I'm coming basically from a village where I had to face a lot of questions about why I'm choosing this particular path despite me having a qualification in engineering background. When I work with young women volunteers, I've seen them people who are with very good caliber, shy actually, to come forward and question and voice their opinion because they feel at some point of time that it's not heard. And even if it is heard, it won't be accepted. So by the end of the day, there will be some people who actually hear your opinion, but it doesn't matter whether you say it or not, the choice is there. I feel that there should be a shift which has to happen because there's a lot of social conditioning which hold us back, which tells us that we are not good enough. How much of expertise you have, you still have to prove that you are worth it. So that is something which I really aspire. When I felt that my opinions were challenged, were not good enough, or when trivialized, what I did was I just stepped out and I just showed them that it is possible by doing it.